What's up guys, Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today, well, we're actually going to be jumping into Star Swordsman Mockman because, well, we talk about him a ton, about him becoming the most dominant hero in Idle Heroes, someone that everybody should go for. We've been using him on our free-to-play account. There's a lot of good things, but he's not like the typical hero where it's like, yeah, just sublime the entire character out, level him up as much as possible, and he'll be good to go, because there are some downsides to doing that. Now, when we're talking about actual artifacts for this hero, I think everybody can kind of agree overall that Melodic Strings is a very, very good one for him. Number one, it gets an active off immediately in round one, even if he's your fastest hero. You can do some crazy damage because it increases your all damage dealt by 50%. So it's on top of his already 50% additional damage if he is in the descending form in the back row. It does reduce over time, but it is one of the better ones. I have seen some people running like Punisher if they can get energy into him, or they go for a supercharge round 2 active, something like that. But there is some flexibility on how you build him. But one thing I want to talk about are his sublimations. Now, of course, getting his main active skill here, Star Transcending, upgraded is very, very important. You're gonna want to run him in the back line just about all the time, because that'll put him in the Star Descending form. This will reduce the armor of 2 enemies with the lowest HP by 80% for 2 rounds, then chases and attacks enemies with Omen Rift. One of those gets applied at the beginning of combat, and then also afterward inflicts Omen Rift on 1 random enemy that doesn't have Omen Rift as well. This will deal 1200% attack damage with a 50% chance to chase and attack 1 more time, up to 5 times. So you guys have seen on our free-to-play account, sometimes he just uses an active and he's done. Other times he's like hit, and it feels really, really good when you do high roll. Meanwhile, each chase and attack grants self 1 layer of awakening energy. This is decent too, because when taking active skills or basic attacks, self gains 1 layer of awakening energy, dealing 1200% attack damage to all enemies, and deals damage by 50% of the same amount of the damage to 1 more time to enemies that have Omen Rift. Now, you can get more crit when you sublime this ability even further. Reduces the attack for 3 rounds when you are in the ascending form in the front row to start, or if you're descending in the back row, reduces the armor even further. So right here, you're reducing even more armor on this one here to 3 rounds. And then lastly, this one is really, really good to get, Noble Sublimation of when launching a successful chase and attack 2 enemies with Omen Rift, 1 extra chase and attack is guaranteed. That right there is absolutely huge. Now, his basic attack is worth subliming, I think, because it still increases the amount of damage he does, which is pretty good. He has a guaranteed crit chance, and there are a couple things that are pretty cool. More all damage dealt. After releasing it, you get additional crit damage from 50% for 2 rounds, so that will hopefully lead into a huge active afterwards. And then lastly, he does have a little bit of healing. Light slashing is pretty decent as well, because when the battle starts, this is the one that inflicts Omen Rift on 1 random enemy. When you are in the back row descending, all damage dealt by 50% is increased, and at the end of each round increases all allies' precision by 60%, and a part of your precision gets added to your attack. So that is very, very strong. He does have his HP and attack node here. He also has this right here. So we kind of glance over all his ascending forms, because that's not really what we're using him for. Star Descending additionally increases all backline allies crit damage by 50%. So like, yeah, there's a lot of crit damage stacking up for when he does get a crit off, and he can get a guaranteed crit right here by being in the back row with his basic. And then lastly, this one's really good. When a battle starts, or when self is in a battle as a substitution, additionally inflicts Omen Rift on 1 random enemy that doesn't have it. So that's another person that's getting that Omen Rift. Very good. But then we come down to the final part here that I really want to talk about, and that is the Resolute Swordsmanship. This one you really almost don't want to put any points into sublimation wise. So let's read this out. When taking active skills or basic attacks in the state of Star Ascending, there is a 66% chance to gain 1 layer of awakening energy and restore self HP equal to 4% of max HP. When releasing active skills or basic attacks while in Star Descending, you basically just get 1. Now this percentage here goes from, this goes up to 66, but I want to show you guys, it should be where? This one right here, right? it should be 50% when you hit V3. That's actually a huge positive of not having it, because you want to stay in your star descending form for as many rounds as possible in the early couple of rounds. You are missing out on some stats here. You are missing out on some healing. The other part here is when releasing active skills or base attacks in star descending, your offensive form, there's a 75% chance to get another layer of awakening energy. So it's like, you don't really want to be switching baseline between that. It's not the best idea. Most people I see are doing the first sublimations and then they're leaving the last one open. That way they have a lower chance to get additional awakening energy and stuff like that, mainly because it's guaranteed down here as well. If you want to put points in it, it's fine. It just depends on how you're using your hero, because again, it's only a higher chance when you're in ascending form. And just remember, ascending is essentially the defensive form from the front row that you start in. So it really is up to you, because I don't think it's it's guaranteed no matter what down here. So it's up to you whether you really want to go in on it or not here, but it is something to talk about. Take that into consideration. Now, if you do want to switch stances, though, I would highly suggest you Sublime that, especially if you're using his core, because whenever you're switching between states, additional skill effects take place based on the current state of self after you switch. So if you switch to Star Ascending, increases all allies damage reduction, which is pretty cool. The effect declines 5% every round. When an ally except yourself takes active skills or basic attacks, the ally launches a counterattack. And that counterattack can actually do a lot of damage. If the attacker is inflicted by Omen Rift, it's going to do the same amount one more time. And then mainly if you start in descending, you're getting this use, increases all allies crit chance by 18%, which is awesome, which declines. And again, whenever an ally does it, you do get the chase attacks and everything. So it's not like one of the best cores out there. It's solid, but you do have to remember about this. You really got to figure out how you want to use it, because especially if you are getting into the ascending form very quickly, then having this sublimation done will get you back to the descending form faster, because you have a 16% chance higher. So you just have to know how you want to build your hero, and then you'll be in a good spot. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. You're going to see a lot more Star Swordsman Mockman, because, well, he's the new sword flash Shia of the game, essentially. He is used in every game mode. You'll have so much easier of a time if you build him up instead of a Shia for things like Void Campaign especially. And hopefully we'll be building him ourselves and maxing him out very, very soon. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.